Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, Balochistan is continuously reeling under a wave of terror attacks, targeting innocent civilians and security forces. The recent massacre of passengers on buses and the destruction of infrastructure have raised alarming questions. What are these questions? Who is sponsoring the banned terrorist outfits? Balochistan Liberation Army, BLA, Balochistan Republic Army, BRA, Balochistan Liberation Front, BLF, Balochistan National Army, BNA, type of terrorist entities. Who is behind these heinous attacks? What are their motives? Who is marring Baloch? Who is running political and student wings of terrorist organizations? What are the funding sources? Is it a deep conspiracy to destabilize Balochistan, undermine development including China-Pakistan economic corridor, keep the province in shackles of poverty, erupt ethnic divisions and destabilize Pakistan? Pakistan's entire leadership condemned these heinous and brutal attacks of the banned BLA terrorists on multiple locations in Balochistan, targeting innocent civilians, police, levies, and security forces. President Asif Ali Zardari termed the perpetrators as enemies of the nation, while Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif categorically said that the war against terrorists will continue until the complete elimination of terrorism from the country, and allocated rupees 60 billion for Azm-e-Istehkam strategy. There was also a meeting held between the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mian Shehbaz Sharif, along with him the Chief Minister of Balochistan, Sarfraz Bugti, and the Interior Minister also. A strategy devised to tackle terrorism. And this strategy, Azm-e-Istehkam, is very important to implement in letter and spirit, along with the National Action Plan's 14 points. How crucial these things are, we will discuss in detail. We have in our studios Dr.Shafqat Munir. He is a security analyst. Most welcome to you, Dr. Thank you very much. And Asadullah Khan, he is the research fellow working at China-Pakistan Studies Center, Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad. Most welcome to you, Asadullah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And online joining us, Brigadier Retired Ghazanfar Ali Shah. He is the strategic affairs expert. Most welcome to you, Brigadier Sahab. Thank you very much for your time. My first question to you, Brigadier Sahab, that what's the motive behind the massacre of innocent people belongs to other provinces particularly, riding in buses after identifying them, and this act is horribly on rise in Balochistan. Even more than 10 ordinary passenger vehicles were also set on fire, while in Bolan the railway bridge was destroyed, along with in other areas the police stations, the official vehicles and assets were destroyed. What's the motive behind?
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Faisal, I would request one thing, that once we analyze this thing in any context, we should not only take the incident which happened yesterday. You have to link it with the historical development, the contextual development which have taken place over a period of time. And it's not of today. I remember of 1973 insurgency, when Zulfikar Ali Bhutto government was there and there was an insurgency in Balochistan. And we fought it out, we uprooted it, and at the ultimate there was a very famous Operation Shamalam, in which all these leaders like Ghulam Rasool Zingi, Ali Gul Tingyani, and all that people who belonged to that area, which was in starting from Lorlai, go down to Kolur, go down to Mawan, go down to Derabukti, go down to in all these areas, they laid their arms in front of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and then they were granted different development schemes in that area, and that insurgency died down. Now, sporadic clashes, the tribal clashes in Balochistan, they are a very common phenomenon. You can't root them out. The law and order situation can't be 100% perfect in Balochistan because the terrain is such, and the context of the tribes is as such, that continues. Then the very tragic thing which happened in Balochistan, and I always felt very bad about it, was the killing of Akbar Bukti. Akbar Bukti was a man of federation. And I remember of that time in those days, Mr. Zafarullah Jumali, may Allah rest his soul in peace. He was trying very hard when he was the Prime Minister to seek rapprochement with Akbar Bukti, and he had chalked out a plan. Abdullah Harun, he even had talked to the Sui Gas and all that, the demands of Akbar Bukti, which were only related to the benefit of his own tribe. There was no corruption charges against Akbar Bukti. He wanted some enhancement in the cash and some salaries and all that. Zafarullah Jumali was trying, he had spoken to him, he was trying to conduct a meeting, but that never happened because there was a clash in Islamabad, which was probably misdirecting Jan Parvez Musharraf, and then you see ultimately what happened. So starting from there, Balochistan, which had gone in peace after 1973 curbing of insurgency, there again this terrorist incident started, Harbyar Mari and Varamdad Bukti and all those people, and the coming of the BLA and VRA and all that. And if you remember, BLA was created in 1973, and there were two former KGB agents, which were known as the Shah and Mona, who had come to Balochistan, and we had detected them, and they worked along BSO, which is Balochistan Student Organization. And then the BLA came up, and when BLA came up, you see BRA came up, and VRA came up, BNA came up. So all these groups which are represented, which are representing a very low percentage of the local tribes. If you talk of Bukti, if you talk of Mari, if you talk of Turbat, if you talk of Panjur, the people who are representing it belongs to a very thin majority. Whether it is Bashir Dev, whether it is Javed Mangal, whether it is Aslam Achu who died. Aslam Achu died in the house of Afghan.
Absolutely. So we'll ask these questions with our experts. Dr. Shafqat, Munir sahab, how do you see this tragic massacre? Is it not the deep conspiracy to deliberately create fissures among different ethnicities in Pakistan? The enemy is trying old tactics of erupting violence, not only in Balochistan but across Pakistan, in a new way by using terrorists and its proxies.
I think we should look at it with two angles. One is that this heinous crime has taken place. The innocent civilian has been martyred by these terrorists. Secondly, the color they wanted to give it is a color that people from outside province were killed, so that they can correlate themselves with so-called Naraz Baloch and so-called these people, those who politically somehow have sympathy with these terrorist groups. So that they played a double game. But I think whoever has been martyred there and who has killed them or martyred them, they are the two sides of the coin. We have to see it, the coin of terrorism. One is the terrorists, those who have killed it, period, no question about of their political things or other. Secondly, who have been killed, they were Pakistanis. So this is not that they were from other province or because this is a whole country. So we are not buying this idea of Baloch and non-Baloch.
No,
so
this is not the case. But so I'm talking about that what the terrorist mentality is, what those who are actually backing, financing, abetting and giving them training and refuge at the third country, what is their ideology or what they want actually? Because there is no divide in Pakistan, alhamdulillah. Every province, people are moving freely. There are lots of commerce and the trade is going on in between the provinces. So it was long gone. It was it was history. Now it is not existing in Pakistan, some kind of fissures or divide. But enemy and the entities who are the terrorists or the proxies, they want it.
Yeah. Basically, you know, I will correlate with your earlier question which you raised in intro. Who are supporting them?
Yes.
Terrorism is a business now, and for a business, that business is killing innocent people for the political or vested interest of someone who is paying it. And now correlation is very clear. If Indian channels are celebrating it, if Kulbhushan Yadav's networks are working somewhere, it is now before the world. Everybody has seen, the world community has seen that how Kulbhushan here in Pakistan, in Balochistan, was running these networks. And still the one person is caught, but the whole network is not there. But supply line, money supply line, training through third countries, that is continuing. And that is why these terrorists, they research again and they attack it and they are paid for it. So they are killers, they are serial killers and they are paid for it, they are trained for it. So the purpose is to destabilize Pakistan's one portion which is already poverty ridden, where there is inequality. There is the issue of inequality and poverty, and they do not want that any development work go there. If any development work goes there, see the Pakistan development paradigm, that has been shifted to that provinces. Balochistan, lot of money has been set aside for development, but they destroyed the development project. Now CPEC is there, the seaport, deep seaport is there, but because of these internal things, and they exploit some internal groups politically and they attack terrorist wise. So they are playing both. That's why we should very clear here in Pakistan now that now Balochistan needs a massive kind of operation which should be somehow political, somehow non-kinetic in the development
Definitely,
side.
we'll discuss on that as well. We'll discuss on that as well. Asadullah, what about this dubious character, Dr. Marang Baloch? She never agitated the killings of the innocent citizens within Balochistan or people from other provinces or security forces. But she is protesting and using nefarious tactics only for those terrorists who took refuge in Iran. You have just listened to this video. Or Afghanistan and attacking Pakistan on daily basis. Do you not think she is acting as a facilitator?
Faisal, thank you for inviting me. A bloodbath was taken in Balochistan and what these terrorist organizations have done. I think there should be this has our resolve, this has further cemented our resolve against terrorism.
Definitely.
Now people like Marang Baloch who are playing a kind of politics on the social issues of a deprived area of Balochistan where there is poverty, there are social issues, there are many other problems as well. She is doing a kind of politics on based on these social issues. Now we have seen that terrorism has added.
But she is not raising the social issues at all.
Yeah, she is doing politics on those, based on those social issues. Now the terrorism has been done on it, and that has added in that phenomena. But unfortunately, no condemnation we have heard from those so-called political segments, because I don't consider them, those who are doing politics on the social issues, I don't consider them as political leaders. They are self-proclaimed leaders. What I suggest is that there should be a comprehensive response from the state, but that should be in two steps. What I personally suggest. First, we need to negotiate with these people, because at the end of the day they are from our society. Based on those negotiations, those who are ready to negotiate should be brought in the mainstream.
But the problem is that CM Balochistan, Sarfraz Bukti, in his press conference just on that particular day at night, he categorically said that this so-called Baloch Solidarity Committee, whenever we have invited them for talks, they came, but unfortunately they have not raised the missing persons issue, but they have discussed all others. So what type of politics they are playing actually? CM Balochistan is at a responsible position and he is saying that. So what kind of, what it means when there is a Baloch Yakjahati Committee and this Marang Baloch, what she means actually?
What I'm trying to say is we need to go towards a solution that is politically feasible.
Yeah, definitely, you are right.
Yes,
you are
that
right.
is politically feasible.
Yes.
And that is not based on the politics of any segment of life. For example, they are politicizing it based on the social issues or the social problems out there in Balochistan. we have to first see what their demands are, because internally all these terrorist organizations are fractured, they are weak. Their demands are not coherent, their demands are not synchronizing with their acts or what they want actually from the government of Pakistan. So we need to first categorize them. Those who want to go on the right path or towards the conclusion of this whole conflict, we need to talk to them. And those who are miscreants, then we need to
Have
deal
the
with
kinetic
them.
operation.
Yes,
Okay.
then we need
So,
to deal with them.
very right, very right. So, Dr. Shafqat Sahab, CM Balochistan categorically said that 84% of the cases by the Missing Persons Commission were already resolved. And there were very few but nobody wants to talk on missing persons. Their agenda, the Baloch Solidarity Committee agenda, is something else. For what they are working actually.
I just want to quote here one incident where, in Balochistan, there was a workshop on Balochistan, national workshop on Balochistan. I was there, and at the session, even Mama Kadir and all these, and the president of their association was invited, and they were also heard there, and they were told all these figures. At that time, almost more than 700 people were returned back, and now you have seen the Marang Baloch statement that those who have been killed inside Iran, relative of them are here
Yes,
in
yes.
India. So which means that a lot of people are missing because of their own will or their own designs. Those who have been,
They are playing double game
double
actually
game,
with
and
the
those
state
who
of
were
Pakistan.
picked up, we are not denying that the issue of missing a person was not there. But things are resolved. The commission has resolved a lot of things, and we heard the member of the commission from Balochistan at that workshop.
Definitely.
And he also told us about that, and he was a former judge. He told about everything, how we handle the cases. So they are handling it, things are there. But this phenomenon of missing person is based on some sort of intelligence, some sort of reports, and some sort of a mechanism. It's not that everyone is picked up or everybody is missing.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
these reports should have been scrutinized, and the CM Balochistan is rightly said 84%. I guess that's the phenomena, and they should not be mixing this thing with the terrorism. It means that if somebody is missing, that the people should start terrorism, and terrorism of picking people, getting them down from a bus and shooting. These kinds of incidents are kind of an ethnic cleansing.
Yes, it
And
is.
that takes us towards a really serious situation. If that happens, then it means somebody or some forces are behind. Those who want to isolate this portion from rest of Pakistan. Whereas if you look at in Pakistan, you will see lot of quota cafes are all around across Pakistan.
Yeah, definitely.
There are brothers.
Lots
they're working
lots
here.
of students
So we
from
love them.
Balochistan studying in different
Punjab
universities. They are
various
living
universities,
here
they are there.
in peace, and everybody
yeah.
loves them.
And that's why we take care of them. It is not that we are giving them some concession, but it is their right, because we all
Definitely,
are
it's their
all
right.
are
Every
Pakistanis.
province belongs to every other province.
Every Pakistani.
Every Pakistani. Definitely,
So
this is
that's
Pakistan.
why
This is for all.
this sort of ethnic cleansing is the agenda of the enemy.
Yes.
Which is not Pakistan based or Pakistani enemy.
This is
You know,
not basically
this
the
is not
Baloch
Pakistan.
agenda. This is basically
an
the
international
enemy's
enemy
agenda, and the enemy behind wants
It's very
us
clear
to
now.
be divided.
It's very clear now.
Definitely, no doubt about that. Brigadier retired Ghazanfar Sahab, it's on record that during Islamabad sit-in, Marang Baloch, Dr. Marang Baloch, during her presser at the media, she categorically said, and I quote, "Those who killed in Iran, Sistan, Balochistan, in Pakistani missile attack, their relatives are here in this camp, and the camp was missing of missing persons." So what was that basically?
The concept, the background is very clear, Faisal. I have no doubt, and we have repeatedly expressed it in different forums. And I'm saying it to you with authority and with conviction, and with an analysis, and with a background analysis, with an intelligence-related analysis, that all those people who are claimed as missing persons, they are part and parcel of BLA, BRA, BNA, and all those terrorist organizations. What happened? The people who attacked on Chinese embassy when their Chinese embassy in Karachi, was their origins were detected, their DNA was taken, they
Chinese
all were
consulate
part
in
of,
Karachi.
yeah, they all were part of missing person. What happened? Who was the woman who was sitting with a suicide jacket in Quetta, in one of the places in Quetta, and when she identified, she was in a missing person. What happened to a girl who died in Canada in a flat? She was a missing person. Who are those people who attacked on Faisal base? They were part of missing person. What about the people who attacked Bada Bear Air Base? When their DNAs were detected, they were all part of missing person whose list were already given by different people. So remember, and I'm saying it with all the missing persons are part of the terror, and they are terrorists, and they are working with these BLA, BRA, and all those people. Who was Aslam Balod? He was a missing person who died in Afghanistan. Who was Bashir Zain? He was a missing person. Who was Harabyar Mari? Who was Balach Mari? Balach Mari is down outside. They have their safe houses in Kabul. So the concept is very clear. The incidents, the occurrence of the incidents in different times, like it happened, the same thing happened in Noshki last year where the people were offboarded. The same thing happened in the head of Gwadar where Navy persons were offboarded from the bus and killed. The same thing happened with the Hazaras when they were going for. So it has been repeated. The question now is, which is a very, very basic question, what are we doing to counter all these things? What is the state doing to counter all this?
Brigadier Retired Ghazanfar Shah Sahab, although the prescribed terrorist organization Balochistan Liberation Army has accepted the responsibility of this heartbreaking massacre in Balochistan, do you not think that the attacking several presses at the same time a clear sign that our eastern neighbor India has now imposed a large-scale war against Pakistan, and it's high time that the nation, including the Baloch people, stood up against these terrorist organizations and all other terrorist entities who are operating elsewhere in Balochistan or other areas of Pakistan?
I have no doubt about it. I've told you already that Afghanistan and India are fully involved into it. Afghanistan government is providing all those weapons which were left by the Americans in Afghanistan, and there are Western reports of that. The American reports have said that all those weapons which are being used by these terrorists, whether it is Tira or whether it is in Balochistan, it is being provided by the Afghan government, and Afghan government is involved in the smuggling and support of and training and lodging and boarding of these terrorists, not for today, but since of the Karzai time. And Afghanistan intelligence chief was very deeply involved into it. There is no doubt in that. If someone has any doubt into it, he is living in fool's paradise. And when Narendra Modi visited Bangladesh, what did he say there? You remember in Hasina Wajid, he said we are involved in destabilizing Pakistan. But the irony is, let me tell you very frankly, the irony is that we here in Pakistan, at different forum or different level, are still not ready to accept this. We still not ready to adopt to the strategy, which anti-strategy, which is adopted by our enemy. I mean, what should have happened? I said this is not a first event. Yeah, Balochistan is burning. One has to realize those who lived in Balochistan, those who served in Balochistan, those who know the topography of Balochistan, they can, while sitting away, they can understand today that Balochistan is burning very badly. It is burning politically because of the inefficient provincial governments over a period of time. I am not talking of today's government. Inefficient, non-deliverance political government over a period of time who do not take any stake, who do not take any responsibility. There is no political negotiations which have been going on. If your negotiation breaks, as has been said earlier, There have to be kinetic operations, there have to be non-kinetic operations, there have to be political operations, political dialogue. You have to involve different sardars, different chieftains, different prominent personalities. Have
Definitely,
you
you are
seen it
absolutely
happen?
right. You are absolutely right, Brigadier Sahib. You are right that along with the kinetic operation, there must have to be a political dialogue, must be initiated by the political parties who are there in the province. Definitely, no doubt about that, and the government has to take lead. Asadullah, where are the human rights of those who lost their loved ones and those who are murdered cold-blooded by these terrorist organizations like BLA? Whether Dr. Marang or other condemn this BLA and protest against their activities, the terrorist activities in Balochistan, and do the press conference same like she is doing for so-called missing persons?
Unfortunately, the human rights issue in Balochistan is totally being ignored by these terrorist organizations. They are attacking government installation. They are not looking after the innocent people, children, women in their attacks. No, they're not considering them, and their targets are more haphazard and ordinary people. Now, talking about the Maharangs or other such so-called political activists in Balochistan, they are not talking about or they are not condemning these attacks. You know, in my view, there should be an approach of conflict resolution rather than going or further agitating the conflict. So, these political activists, they need to engage with government to engage in the conflict resolution model. Now it's also the government.
The problem is that the government, even the Balochistan government, trying hard to engage those who actually wants to live peacefully, obey the constitution of Pakistan, obey the law and order and all that, and as a peaceful citizen, as others are living and progressing in the country. So why not and majority of the Baloch people wants to do that. They want to live peacefully, they want progress, they want that their life must have to be changed towards development and prosperity. But some of them, like the Baloch Solidarity Committee and something like that, other might be some of the factions in political parties as well. They don't want it. Government want to have negotiations, but government can't go to knock the door and ask that please come, please come, please come. This is not the way. So where we have to start this non-kinetic thing?
Yes, you've rightly mentioned that these elements are not taking it seriously and they are not coming on the table with the government. So what I'm referring to is that if they are serious in their political cause, if they want to do something good for the ordinary people of Balochistan,
if they have the will
to do that,
yes,
they'll have to come on table. They'll have to start a political negotiation, a political process that will lead eventually to the goodwill of something good for the common people of Balochistan.
Definitely, you are absolutely right. Dr. Shafqat sahab, do you not think that some activists and political parties with hostile foreign backing deliberately creating an atmosphere against Pakistan's armed forces, propagating anti-state narrative through media, social media and websites, sown the seeds of hatred to attain dirty designs or nefarious designs of particularly India to destabilize Pakistan?
I think this has been proven now.
Yes.
You know, all this narration you have done, given, is proof that. Now, from here, when we know that enemy is behind that, they are waging war against Pakistan physically, on social media, and otherwise starting destabilization process within the areas which they think could be the weaker areas in the overall body of Pakistan. They are doing it. But now we have to start moving from here to sort it out. Number one, we have to sort it out who are the genuine political people or political parties who are in Balochistan. They are elected people. First, we should start and negotiate with these people, those who are elected in the National Assembly, Provincial Assembly and in the Senate. They should sit together with government and of course all other political parties. They should sit together and the armed forces and other law enforcement agencies and some of the intelligence agencies, those who have all inside intelligence, they should sit together and see what is the motive behind which is proven motive, why they are exploiting politically. When we sort it out, the real political forces and the activist forces, then certainly we will draw a line between the action we have to take in future. For kinetic, certainly we will be knowing who are on the side of the terrorism and who are on side of political solution.
Definitely.
Unless we define it between in between the two, the confusing forces like the Tehreek, they would be confusing people politically.
Definitely.
And also siding with terrorists. We have to draw a line between real political forces and those who are siding with terrorists or those who are silent on terrorist activities. So once this line is drawn, then we can have our strategy, two-pronged strategy. One is non-kinetic measures, talking politically to the people, kinetic measures, taking action, and what Asad has mentioned, rightly mentioned, there are 6 stages of peace building.
Yes.
Then we can move on peace building. First is negotiation, then reconciliation, then we can have other processes, and if nothing happens, then finally is the use of force. And for some of the people, those who are other side of the line, for them only solution is an oppression and use of force.
Definitely.
For
You are
these
absolutely-
political side, we have to negotiate, and there are 6 other stages of peace building. We should explore that.
Very, very right, very right. Brigadier Retired Ghazanfar Sahab, what about the implementation of National Action Plan, all 14 points, whole of the nation approach to carry out Azm-e-Istehkam strategy to get rid of terrorism from Balochistan and even Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to bring peace, development and prosperity in these provinces and across Pakistan. As Prime Minister has allocated at least rupees 60 billion for Azm-e-Istehkam, and as a first tranche immediately government is going to release at least 20 billion rupees.
Faisal, all what has been said is a process which has to be undertaken. I just want, before moving to your question, I just like to point out one thing which is very important. And that thing is that yesterday the attack has taken place at 4 places, which involves approximately half of Balochistan. Right, starting from Gwadar, you come to Lan Brig, and then you go to Musa Khel, which is on the conjunction of Pakistan, Punjab, and Balochistan, and is a very important town.
Dr. Shafqat sahab, Pakistan is suffering because of Afghan interim authority. Its non-cooperation and continued support to the terrorist outfits, as Afghan soil is still in use of the 3rd and 4th country, and they are exploiting the cash-strapped Afghanistan to inflict terrorism upon Pakistan. What's your comments on that?
I think this is very clear that now and these kind of attacks which are an enemy attack, what we are describing it and very rightly describing, and behind this these operators came from Afghanistan, and otherwise there is no chance that people coming from other side, but in Afghanistan it is a sanctuary of many of the terrorist groups and many interest groups, and the country they are supporting through these terrorists, because this is kind of a terrorist market now in Pakistan, not only in Afghanistan, not only for Pakistan, but also other regional countries in Central Asia. So it is the irresponsible attitude by the Taliban regime, those who are now claiming that they cannot do anything, they can only mediate if Pakistan talks to them. Pakistan has already unfortunately done in the previous regimes, has talked to them, allowed them here, and then this terrorism too is here in terms of security.
Your point well taken.
And that's why we should be careful in future for
definitely. You are absolutely right. But Brigadier Retired Ghazanfar Sahab is back. Can you hear me, Brigadier Sahab?
I can hear you very clearly.
Brigadier Sahab, we were talking about actually the National Action Plan's 14 points, along with that the funding for the Azm-e-Istehkam strategy. So how do you see that particularly?
Yes, I was telling you that yesterday the worry for me, or the worry remains for Pakistan, is that the attack which took place at 44 places, at the terrorists who came from Afghanistan or who came from other Ferrari camps. I mean, we are lacking all that intelligence. Why are we lacking that intelligence? Why was there no prior information? It means there is a very serious fault line existing in collection and dissemination of intelligence for these terrorist activities that has to be addressed very abruptly, very seriously, and on a very fast pace. Now you talking of action plan. Actually, national action plan had related to the development of the capacities and development of the strength and development of the re-outreach of different organizations into these terrorist organizations. The 14 points of the National Action Plan was basically cornered around one thing, and that was creation of authority which would undertake to formulate a national counter-terrorism strategy through which you deliver all these 20 Arab rupees or 2 Arab rupees or 5 Arab rupees or 10 Arab rupees. But unfortunately, we did announce the creation of NACTA. We did announce big plans for this, but till today there has been no formulation of any national counter-terrorist strategy. Where is NACTA? You tell me. Is it not the responsibility of the government? Does the government only awake when some people are killed, 43
You are
people are
absolutely
killed?
right. You are absolutely right. NECTA must have to be operational in a true sense so that we can have this Azm-e-Istehkam strategy be a successful strategy in eradicating terrorism. No doubt about that. And all organs of state must have to act now, because otherwise it would be very difficult for us to really root out this menace. Brigadier Sahib, do you not think that a rigorous two-pronged strategy, as mentioned by our Dr. Shafqat Munir Sahib, is needed? One, the dialogue, and other is the kinetic operation. So do you think that this strategy is going to work and against those who are playing actually in the hands of inimical forces, enemies, intelligence agency RAW, whose in-service commander Kulbhushan Sudhir Yadav is a living proof that India is actively involved in terrorism in Balochistan particularly?
It's not only two-pronged, it is three-pronged or four-pronged strategy. You have talked about the kinetic operation, you have talked about the political dialogue, you have not the diplomatic. You have not spoken about the international projection of these things which is being taking place through different embassies and through different forums. I mean, why can't we take these cases to the international forum that 43, 44 civilians have been killed? Those Marang Baloch or all those people whom you are referring to, they talk of the human rights, they talk of the missing. Are they deaf? Are they dead? Are they honest? Are they not hypocrite? Are they not liars? That in front of them 43 people have been killed on the name of ethnicity. They were not Punjabi, they were Pakistanis. So where is our diplomacy going on? Where are our international efforts are going on? It's not only internal thing which you have to do. You have to tell people, you have to tell the world that India is the biggest enemy. India is a terrorist state. India is a fascist state. Narendra Modi is a fascist leader. He said that I will destabilize Pakistan. So why can't we talk to those people who are concerned with the International Human Rights Commission or Amnesty International or different so-called big organizations? That Afghanistan is arming terrorist group. The Americans says Afghanistan is arming terrorist group. China knows that Afghanistan is arming terrorist group. China knows that Fitna al-Kharji is all leaders. The
Brigadier Sahib, recently the two United Nations Security Council special reports unveiled that there are several, at least more than 10,000 of the Fitna al-Kharij or the TTP terrorists are there in Afghanistan. Along with that, the Daesh terrorists, the rest of the, if we accumulate whole of the figures, that is more than 20,000 of the terrorists are right now having refuge in Afghanistan, and they are enjoying their life there at the Afghan territory.
Why are Americans still giving them the money to Afghanistan to run their government? Pakistan facilitated the withdrawal of the Americans from Pakistan. Why can't we take that issue and tell them and use different, we should have that diplomatic cloud that we use to Afghanistan, we compel Afghanistan, or we compel India not to take terrorist activities in Pakistan. In the past, when something happened in India, when something happened in Kashmir, they used to blame Pakistan. Sir, Pakistan stopped doing anything in India. So India has taken a lead. It means that as a proactive counter strategy, Pakistan should also be doing something in India, like these type of terrorist activities should have been taken. They can be done. There are indirect approach which can be adopted. But Pakistan as a morality is not involved in these things. And this is a very biggest, one of the very strongest point where Pakistan say Pakistan can take it, but we are not doing it. We are not undertaking. You see, just giving a statement that ki mujhe bahut afsos hai ji, those people are killed are Pakistani ji. All efforts should be used to channelize to undertake these things are the gone things. Now you have to enter into a practical
Absolutely
situation.
right. You are absolutely. Thank you very much for being with us online, Brigadier Retired Ghazanfar Ali Shah Sahab. Thank you very much. So nice of you. We'll continue with our guests in the studios. Asad, as Brigadier Sahab was saying, it seems that the India is heavily investing in terrorists and proxies to keep Balochistan destabilized and underdeveloped to attain its nefarious designs to push other provinces' people out. Disrupt the whole state system, to corner Chinese investments, as all major Chinese-led projects, including the strategic port of Gawada International Airport, gold and copper mines, road infrastructure, and all others. So, do you think so that this is basically the pivot, and this actually now the Balochistan is the the ground of animosity or the containment of China policy?
Faisal Sahab, India is on the path of Kautilya's approach. That is, consider your immediate neighbor as your enemy. And now India is applying that to both Pakistan and China.
And enemy's enemy as friend.
And enemy's enemy as friend. Exactly. That's the case in TTP, in the BLA and all others. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to isolate Pakistan, brand Pakistan as a terror-sponsoring state in the international environment. This is what they are doing in bringing a bad name
and even maligning the Kashmir movement in
yes,
Pakistan
yes,
as well.
And isolating Pakistan diplomatically on the international arena. Why they are insecure from China? You know, China is talking about Global Civilization Initiative, Global Development Initiative, Belt and Road Initiative, Global Security Initiatives. They are talking about peace, harmony, mutual coexistence. What India has to offer in the region? Hindutva, Gujarat rights, Delhi rights. What their political leaders are saying.
Akhand Bharat
and all others. Hindutva. So they have nothing to offer even in the region, and what to talk about beyond the region. So they are insecure from the peaceful rise of China and the growing Pakistan-China relationship and friendship. So this is, once you understand this context, the Indian attempts to destabilize the region will become all clear to you.
Definitely.
Now,
you are absolutely right. Dr. Shafqat Sahab, Balochistan government has the opinion that BLA sympathizer, facilitators and sometimes attackers are within the society. They attack and then disperse in population. Even several are the government employees, getting salary from public exchequer, but sympathies are with the terrorists. CM Balochistan warns that remember the consequences of the Swat operation when whole population has to displace for that operation. Is he talking about an intense kinetic operation in Balochistan?
Yes, I think because in all the terrorist movements, wherever in the world, first let me clear one thing before I go to my argument. BLA, Balochistan Liberation Army. Balochistan is part of Pakistan. So there is no question of another army when there is Pakistan army.
Yes, definitely it is.
One clarity, which means they are not, they have nothing, but they are the terrorist groups, right?
These are the Fitna al-Kharij.
These are Fitna al-Kharij. Once they are operating there on the behest of their foreign supporters, definitely whenever there is terrorism or a movement like this, guerrilla actions in hiding, they always hide in communities. And that's why when I was talking about two kind of strategies, one strategy is kinetic and the other is non-kinetic. So that's both way we have to work now. We have to work in communities, counter violent extremism approach, CV approach. There is a full set of system within NECTA. They have a CV wing, Pakistan Ministry of Information, they have a CV cell to counter the propaganda for counter violent extremism activities, to promote youth activities and other, and then isolate and tell the community how these people take refuge with their sympathies within the community, because they use their causes, the community's causes, and they take refuge in the community. So we have to work through the two ways. One is tracing them out. Secondly, the counter violent extremism measures, taking community on board, community actions. There is a full strategy around CVE. We have to work on it. I have written a lot of paper on it. I have done a campaign for the last 15 years. So in this security matter, always counter violent extremism goes side by side the kinetic action and the use of force.
Well said, Shafqat Munir sahab. Dr. Shafqat, thank you very much for your presence here in the studios. Thank you very much, Asadullah, for your presence here and very candid views. Thank you, so nice of you. Viewers, as you have just listened to our panelists, enemy and the terrorist organizations want Balochistan to remain in the shackles of poverty. They want CPAC either to slow down or to halt. But their nefarious designs are not going to be succeeded. Dr. Marang Baloch, a dubious character who is questionable right now, as she has not raised any sort of a voice in favor of those who martyred the innocent citizens, the passengers from different provinces, along with that the security forces personnel and innocent Baloch people who martyred during the terrorist acts. But Marang Baloch is silent on this aspect, and it seems that she is actually playing the proxy, as the DG ISPR very clearly said in his last press conference, that these are the proxies working for the terrorist organization sponsored by our enemies. The missing person issue is resolved 84%, as the CM Balochistan Sarfraz Bukti said, but this Baloch Solidarity Committee is actually exploiting whole of the situation, playing politics and double game with the state right now, but now it is exposed. The panelists also agreed upon that there must have to be the two-pronged strategy. One must be the non-kinetic, the political dialogue, another is the kinetic thing, which is must have to be the operation in Balochistan to eradicate all those terrorist organizations who are existing here, and also the people who are obeying the law and order and obeying the Constitution of Pakistan. There must have to be the dialogue with them. Strict compliance and implementation of National Action Plan and the Azm-e-Istehkam strategy is inevitable right now. All parties conference in the province of Balochistan and the national dialogue at the federal level, that must have to be also initiated. We have to take these issues to the international community, and we have to kickstart the aggressive diplomacy, particularly to expose India's state-sponsored terrorism in Pakistan, particularly in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, because it is inevitable with through their media, through their political statements, through their other statements from their Indian leadership, and what the India is doing at the third country soil in Afghanistan, and sponsoring, abetting and giving training to all those terrorist organizations who are inflicting terrorism in Pakistan. This is all from today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz.